Hi, everyone. Well, I will never go back to the office, I will say that. I used to live in Alameda across the bay, and I would commute for like an hour and a half every day. So now I'm in Hawaii, and I can never commute ever again. So do I click on this, the green? Okay. So I'm Noah. I'm head of marketing for Bubbles. We do async collaboration tools for people who work remotely, so designed for remote workers. And I have done marketing for many, many years in a bunch of functions. So I did content marketing, brand marketing, growth marketing, engagement marketing, you name it. Worked for some of the coolest brands, Lyft, Square, Tide. And I want to tell you about one of the best marketing campaigns that I've led. So my most recent role, I worked at Adobe, and I had the benefit of working on like the perfect marketing initiative. So we had a really strong user insight, create what's true to you, for our audience, which were Gen Zers, which we had the perfect product to bring it to life, right? Adobe Creative Cloud, create what's true to you. And then in addition to that, we had the best talent, right? Billie Eilish, Gen Zers lover, she represents creating what's true to her. And on top of it, we had all this budget, right? So I had agencies and internal teams and lots of dollars. So we had tutorials and social and influencers and billboards. And I was imagining people walking down the street and seeing this billboard and saying, wow, I am inspired to be like Billie Eilish and create what's true to me. And I'm going to go to Adobe and buy the Creative Cloud suite and create and really represent my creativity. But in reality, this is what people saw, right? A bunch of noise. And this is a representation of like everything that is happening online, right? So many ads, like everything is an ad at this point. Content, influencers, communities, it's all one big ad. And people are not listening. And I had this experience that we reached millions of people worldwide. But the majority of them were not convinced, like didn't even notice us, and then most of them were not convinced to even try us. So when I left Adobe, I was interested in finding like a new growth lever. What can I do that will drive growth that a little bit breaks out of these traditional tactics? And I discovered product-led growth. I'm going to give you an example, and after this talk, you're all going to change your business model. But probably not, but I hope that you'll get some tidbits on like what you can do to incorporate like the thinking into your world. So what is product-led growth? I'll start with what is currently the main growth engines in the market. So historically, right, sales-led growth, one person going into an office or a conference and talking to someone very senior, and that person purchases for the whole company. Many companies still need mainly sales-led growth because like the implementation is so deep. Then the cloud arrived, and we had what's called marketing-led growth. And that allows now, directors and managers to just go and buy the product and immediately onboard, right? Software as a service. And the common thread for these two is that as marketers, we want to get users to understand the value of the product. The difference with product-led growth is now we're trying to get users to experience the value of the product. Now, this is not a new idea. Like it's like the cool hip, but let's be honest. Product-led growth, try before you buy, has been around for a while, right? Going to Costco, you get to try the product before you actually purchase it. I remember growing up getting all like the perfume little like samplers, right? So like in the consumer world, try before you buy has always been like a thing. But now because of like new things that are like underlying reasons, we can actually bring it into the software world. So what are these things? A, the cost of building and launching products are going down. B, people are not listening to you, so you have to find a new way to get them. And then C, this is like the new, I think, unlock, is that there's like an employee level personal tech stack, right? Back in the day, I remember my first job, I got like that Nokia from P&G, and like I had the Dell computer, and like each one of us got like the same computer with the same software. Today, you go to any tech company, if we had offices, and some people have like a curved monitor, some people have like the 2 monitors. Like people can choose whatever computer they want and whatever systems they want. And the same goes for software, right? It's not that you buy Adobe for all your employees and you pay for everyone. Now, only if the employee comes and asks for Adobe, then you pay for it, right? So it's like now employees get a chance to use their personal tech stack across every company that they go to. So these factors lead us to rethink our marketing strategy. Now we're not focusing on buyers, right? Like the person that actually buys and purchases. Now we have to focus on users, the ICs, and convince them to want it. Now it used to be that conversion was payment, but now conversion is usage. We want, like I said, like from understanding the value, we want people to experiencing the value, and our tactics are completely different, right? From like media, promotions, now we're moving into product experience and features that we're building. So I'm going to give you like 3 core pillars of product-led growth. The first one is identifying your aha moments. So I remember the first time I picked up my phone and opened Shazam and like put it next to the speaker, and like Miley Cyrus's face like came up, right? Like I was like, aha, right? It's like, whoa, right? That's the aha moment when you understand the value of the product for the first time. And then maybe like a year later, I remember clicking on the Shazam app and seeing that there's like a music recommendation, and I was like, aha! Like the power of this tool is unbelievable. And all our products have aha moments, right? Like here, do I have it? Oh yeah, so what's the aha moment, right? The moment when you first understand the value. And all our products have aha moments, right? Like you name it, right? Like a Square, right? Like the first time someone processes a payment, like they can't believe it. And then the next day, when they get the money in their account, they're like, what? I can't believe this is real. So the first goal is for you to understand your aha moment, because that's the true conversion metric for you. So how do you do it? You identify it through user interviews. And it actually happens. You let them use the product, and then they're like, aha! They don't really say aha. I actually can't figure out how to say aha in a way that makes sense. But for me, it's like, whoa. Right? So it's like I actually see people's reaction to it. And then you take that data point and you go into the user data and you say, when people experience this moment, do they retain better? Do they use our product more? And you actually get validation that that is the moment that can transform the behavior. And then you design for that moment. How can we reach that moment? And that's the second pillar. Okay, this is like the user experience. On the y-axis, you have like feelings, positive or negatives, and then you have like time over there. So like it's pretty painful to buy and purchase a product, right? Like there's some high moments when you like decide that this is what you're gonna buy, and then there's like extremely low moments, like when you have to like actually get the credit card and put your credit card in, or you have to like implement and you like have to find an engineer to put the pixel on the website. You're like, no. And then hopefully at one point you get to that aha moment if you haven't dropped off. The whole idea about product-led growth is like, how do we make that time as short as possible? And it's called time to value. Right? So time to value is the time between sign up and exposure of the product to that aha moment when people like realize value. Okay, how do you do it? I have 3. It's like all 3s within 3s. Okay, remove payment. Okay, freemium, free forever. Like there's like multiple ways that people offer you the product to try before you buy, right? So it's like you can have a free trial for X days. You can have free forever, which is like a subset of your product that people can use, and they never have to upgrade if they want. And then the next question is like, am I going to do a payment method or no payment method required on sign up, right? Like you can just let people use it, or you can ask them for a payment. Okay, the second one is simplifying your onboarding experience. This is like a PLG company that I won't name, but this is like their onboarding experience, right? So it's like get started, no credit card, no, like, nothing, free forever, right? And then you start, it's like single sign-on. Then you have to create an alternative password. Then you have to, like, choose a workplace avatar, workplace color. Like, how many people are on your team? What do you do? It's like, by the time, what is it, like 12 steps probably? By the time I got there, I definitely didn't want to see the tutorials that they created for me. Here's a really amazing example, Zoom. Do you remember like WebEx, how painful that was? You had to like download the software, oh my God. Like Zoom, 3 steps. You like do a password and a name, then you invite your team members, and then you get the Zoom link. Like literally you click on it and you can open your Zoom room. Like that is incredible. I work again for like an async collaboration tool called Bubbles, and we have simplified it even more. You have to go, it's like on the desktop only, use bubbles.com. But you literally click the button and you're in the product immediately. And in the background, we create an account for you based on your IP address. And when you finish getting to the aha moment, we then ask you for your name and email and actually like connect the dots together. But we get you to that moment much quicker. I remember I was talking to an investor and I was giving them our pitch. And while I was pitching and trying to get them to understand the value, they were doing it on the background. And midway into my pitch, they're like, whoa, this is amazing, right? Like that's what you want to create. Okay, so we spoke about onboarding and then empty states. So empty states is where you land after you onboard. So this is an example. Do you know what this product is, right? Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop. This is how you land when you download Adobe Photoshop. And there's so many amazing aha moments in Adobe Photoshop, like so many. And most of the people never discover them because this is where you land. And you're like, what am I doing here, right? So it's like empty states really can increase time to value and get people to drop off. But empty states can actually be a huge unlock, right? So this is Notion. When you land, you could have landed theoretically on an empty page because you have nothing, no data. But they've used their product. You can see like all of these like side notes, and they're using the product to onboard you and show you the value. Okay, so you reduce time to value, right? You got the aha moment, and then really what you want is to amplify that value from the user. So you hope that that aha moment acts as a marketing campaign for someone else. Oops. Doop, 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 doop. Like this, like virality, right? Like how do you get all the investment you put in one person to actually pay out for other people in the future? Okay. How do you do this? It's called K-factor. It's like another term in PLG. So K-factor is how many people from the one user that you acquired, how many new people are you getting after that? So how do you start? I have 3. Referral programs. Add acquisition flows to guest experiences. And this is like really interesting, right? For a lot of our products, they're now shareable with other people. So when I'm a guest, right, so a great example is Slack. Someone invites you to a Slack channel. You're a guest in their Slack community. This is an opportunity for Slack to upsell you to become a new channel creator, right? So you see like that plus sign, create a new workplace, is like their way, right? So thinking about the product experience as an acquisition channel for other people. At Bubbles, at the end of every video, we have these like use cases, right, to allow people to be like, oh, this might be for me, actually. The third one is creating shareable-worthy assets, right? So I think the best example is Spotify. They created like the year in review, and what's so amazing about it, everyone wants to share it, and it creates like a massive awareness campaign for Shopify. Okay, I think I'm doing so well. I think you're all going to go to lunch really quickly. So here's all the questions to ask yourself. I think like, not every company can be PLG, and there's actually like so many companies that need the sales and need the implementation and need the account creation and need the payment. Because you're like, how can you take that mindset and incorporate that into your world? Oop. This is my email. You should send me a bubble. It's free, 1 click, and you can actually send me a video recording. And there's like a bunch of resources about product-led growth. Thank you so much.
I'm curious, like at the beginning, you were like half joking, but you said we're all going to change our business model. I am curious, maybe even for anybody in the room, does anybody have good examples of a company who did not start product-led growth, but was actually able to successfully pivot that way? Because I think that's one challenge I've run into is like, it's hard to change if you're not doing this sort of stuff from the beginning, but would love your thoughts or anybody's thoughts.
So I advise a company out of Israel that has basically attribution software for marketers, and they were having a hard time competing with the larger acquisitions that were made by platform players a couple of years ago. And so what they did was, in front of the paywall, they gave the PLG for half of the reports, but none of the journeys. And so anyways, their whole strategy was to get you excited, to whet your appetite, but then behind the paywall, keep the real gold,
Right.
which is what they did. They are struggling to get to the K values, which is you get one user to actually work with the data, one user to actually use the software, but the expansion, the multiplicity of the PLG strategy hasn't happened yet. But they were a very much of an enterprise sales strategy of going into the CMO, and now they're selling at the director level or even
Right.
lower at the same price point. So
I think like an example is maybe HubSpot. Maybe I don't know if that's true, but HubSpot is I think mainly like marketing-led marketing and sales, and they created a website ranking, the website grader tool, so you can like put your website and it tells you what grade it is, and that's like a pure product-led growth, right? It's like you create a different product that even like, isn't your main product, that drives people to like come and discover you, and then from there you convert them to like the more paid product. I think so, right? Because you convert people through product, like your tactics.
I would disagree with you on that.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, I think that's a campaign. If there's not
Could be. Right, like where's the line between like white papers and getting people's contact information and like now like you can just use product as like a lead magnet in some way, which is like probably like what this is, right?
100%, but if for product-led growth in my definition in my world is if you have logged on, your same log on is the access to the application.
Totally.
And so if it's a campaign or a fast engagement cycle where it's like, hey, we can do this kind of SWOT analysis of your website. In this case, HubSpot was brilliant, but it had nothing to do with the rest of the platform. It wasn't interoperability.
Yeah.
So, but your slides are, I don't mean to.
No, Totally. I'm Israeli, so I believe in like good debate and disagreement.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good question, though. Thinking about where tools play. Are tools a product or are they a campaign?
Yeah, I mean, like a calculator is a campaign to me, even though it still has an ROI prediction in it. It's not the application I sell, and I don't monetize the calculator if I give it away free. Does that make sense?
Do you monetize it through upsell, though?
It's no different than a campaign. It's like saying I'm monetizing a white paper.
And I think that's the idea, right? Like I think I had that slide because you kind of mentioned, I don't think it's like product managers led growth, right? It's like product usage is your growth, right? And I think that's where like the question is like, where's the differentiation between like a marketing campaign and like a product experience is?
So you mentioned PLG. You first start off with marketing to individual users. And let's say you do it very well. You've got quite a lot of individual users. Let's say that you're a B2B product, potentially like Slack, even like Bubbles. Haven't checked it out yet, but I will. At some point, to up level and to really hit revenue growth, you're going to have to be talking about an enterprise level sale.
Right.
How do you make that jump, and sort of how do you go and figure out even who to market to if, let's say, not even market to, who do you have the meeting with? If, let's say, Slack, it's distributed all across the company.
Totally. I saw this amazing example, the CEO of Gong posted it, that someone from Miro, one of those collaboration tools, reached out to him, a salesperson, being like, we have 75 people on your team that are using individually your product. You should like really think about building like an umbrella, and I think that's how you do it. You get enough people in these companies, and then you reach out to the decision maker being like, you already have people using it, don't you want to like make sure that it's safe and secure and single sign-on and all that, and that's how you sell it at the end of the day.
I think also the product experience has to be there. I don't know if anyone ever used Power BI when it first came out as a marketer, and they offered you a free trial, and they dropped you in, and you go, "What do I do?" Right? I don't know how to connect the database. So
Totally, right? I think that's where like maybe the HubSpot came to mind, because like you can't really do it without actually going through the onboarding process. So how do you build like trust with the platform, or fast enough, or something like that? But I do think that it's really hard. Like what you said, Ellen and I work together at Adobe, and like Canva is a product-led growth in a big way. And we are like literally living in a business school case study, right? Like this is happening, and like Free Forever is like up and rising, but we are in like a public company that can't now say like, guess what? We're gonna offer like a cheaper product, and it's gonna be free to our shareholders. So it's really, really difficult. Cool. Lunch? Are you gonna release them, or should I release them?
You can release them.
Okay.
Let's release the hounds, yeah.
Should we do it together? Should we do it together?
We're gonna come
Okay.
back. So 1:45, we've got a couple folks. We got Jeff and Daniel going to speak, so I don't know exactly what time it is, but you got roughly an hour or so for lunch. We'll see everybody back at 1:45. Thank you for the talk on
Thank you.
PLG.
Thank you.